All right. Today we're going to talk about the halacha, which is related to sukah. I know it's earlier. We're still in the middle of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, but this is the reason I'm learning this today, because if you want to do this mitzvah right, there is a time to prepare for it the right way. The halacha is like this: are you allowed to build a sukkah in a public place, in the Shus Rabim, and it's more shaykh in New York City? There's a lot of buildings over there. They're common areas. Are you allowed to build your sukkah and that's not your own reshus, either Shus Rabim or common area? There's any problem or not?
It's very common in New York, where they had, because of COVID, they made these outdoor eating areas. They turned them into sukkahs, many places. They had these areas on the street, literally,
right,
which were turned from outdoor eating because of COVID into sukkahs.
Okay, and who turned them? The city?
The city allowed them.
Okay, so we'll see now. We'll see if there's a. Okay, so it's like this. So like this. So yes, v'yotzim. I'm reading from the Torah. V'yotzim b'sukkah she'ula, avalo b'gzula. You're allowed to be yotzim your mitzvah. Mitzvah sukkah, yeshiva sukkah. If it's not your own sukkah, you shoyel, you borrow the sukkah or the time you're sitting there. That's holding discussion Gemara between the Tanoim, Rabbi Eliezer and Chachomim. Rabbi Eliezer hold you have to be your own sukkah. Avalo begzula. Now, which sukkah gzula you're not yoytze? Pirish Rashi, the lo mashkacha sukkah gezula, ela shegoz al sukkah asuya b'rosh asfina b'rosh agola. Which sukkah gezula? The Gemara says you're not yoytze. If somebody made a sukkah on his truck, like we know today, many people put the sukkahs on the truck, it's on a boat, and you stole the boat and the truck with the sukkah. Such a sukkah, you're not yoytze. He says. But he says, if you go to a sukkah that's built on the ground, and you go and you take the owner out of there and you sit and eat over there, even though it's sukkah gezula, meaning it's not your sukkah, you took out the owner out of his own sukkah, and you're sitting there, he says you still yoytze. The reason for it, because karka and a nigzelis, because you cannot steal a karka, it's still his. The definition of gzela, you took it away from him. You're not taking anything to go, you're sitting there. So it's we consider sukkah shula. So that's Lamaisa comes out according to this. If I build a sukkah according to this, the way Rashi and that's we're learning the pshat in the Gemara. If I build a sukkah in a public domain, I can steal the karka, even though maybe it's not appropriate. Yeah, it's like taking the balabos out of his own sukkah. It's not appropriate. But Lamaisa to say it's dover gozul, it's not, because karka and exelis. I didn't steal anything from Shus Rabim. They're going to get it back after I'm done my use of the sukkah over there. So Memeila lechoyer mashma, you will be yoytze. Again, it's not lechatchila, as we're going to see, but Lamaisa you'll be yoytze. However, the Darcha Moshe, he brings the Or Zerua. He says like this: the Or Zerua writes the oisa sukkose b'Shus Rabim. But the Eved Yotza. You Yotza but the Eved, he says, Mashma de Lechatchila mihu osur. The Darcha Moshe says, Mashma from this Lechatchila, you should not be doing it. Kakos of Azur Behedia. He says, but Am Medayik, he says, then you find out the Azur writes clearly like this. Umaisalam in Yerushalmi. In Yerushalmi, it says over there, that was a man that he did a sukkah in the Shus Rabim, and Resh Lakish told him, "Mi tirlecha lasas ken at the Shus Rabim." Who gave you permission to make your sukkah in Shus Rabim? Mashma, Dal ken lashor Rabban ela b'di eved, aber lechatchila loy. Ad kan lashon erzerua. V'nira mizeh. That's where the conclusion of Darcha Moshe. The lechatchila. V'nira mizeh. The yesh li zoy lechatchila min lasas sukkah b'chotzer. Or b'movoi shel Rabim, whether it's a chotzer shel Rabim, movoi shel Rabim, common area, or a Shus Rabim, yeah. Omenam, he concludes, lo reisin izorim b'zeh. And he says, I didn't see the people not care if it looks like it was already in time of the Ramo in Europe. They used to make in common areas and the Shus Rabim, and people used to do the sukkahs. As Adayom, we see many sukkahs, whether it's pizza shops or restaurants or like I said, in common areas and buildings. People put them in Rosh Hashanah, they put them in common areas. Even though lechatchila it's not ideal, but people do it. Something writes the Bach. He says, "Aval lechatchila loy, the whole gezel and oisim mena sukah lechatchila." Umay timer, he says the Bach, lo yeshev odom b'sukas chaveira shelo midaitay. Even you're not stealing, you're not taking it like the gezel. We said he's taking the owner out of his sukkah, throwing him out. Aggressive man, and you're going sitting over there. Even that, with the evidence is. But if we're talking about not, let's say the balabos is not in his sukkah now. He finishes his meal. You're coming later to eat your meal over there. It says the chatchila don't do that, even though there is a halacha nechel el inish le'me'ebad mitzvah b'moinei. If you see a tefillin in a shul of somebody, the owner is not here. You want to put it right back. You're allowed to, because the person will be happy if you do a mitzvah with his money. By the way, it's not so poshut, especially in places. I'm not going to go into it right now, but that's general the idea. V'chen kosav amordach of Shem Ravia, v'kol sheken im daito legozla, v'chen lo ye'oseh, lechatchila bekarka chaveira shelo midaitoi. Something, don't put your sukkah in the karka of your friend without his permission. But according to this would be lechoyre saying the same thing. He doesn't speak about directly about the reshus. By the way, he does speak about the reshus harabim. But tam din the aval bish gozal arabim. Who karka and nigzelas v'lo chazra b'medes. Yeah, he talks about reshus harabim too. According to the Bach also, like the Darcha Moshe, it's not appropriate to do the reshus harabim. Again, the Rama brought the minhag olam to do it. Now, lahalacha, it's brought in Shulchan Aruch. Here's what the Mechaber writes: Sukah gezula kesheira ketzad. What is the Sukah gezula? He explains according to Rashi. Sukah gezula that kesheira kegonim tokaf al chaveira v'otziyah misukosei v'gozla v'yoshav v'yotzash en karka nigzelas. You went to your friend's sukkah, took him out of his sukkah, and you're sitting there. Again, it's not the right, it's not appropriate, but en karka nigzel, it's not called sukkah. Such a sukkah is not called gzor. The Rama says, "Miu lechatchila lo yeshav odom b'sukkahs chaveira shelo midaitoi, kol sheken gadol legozla v'chen lo yaseh lechatchila bekarka shel chaveira shelo midaitoi karka shei rabim." So the Rama says over here what it says exactly in Darcha Moshe and by the Tur. Lechatchila don't do it. It concludes miu b'di'evad yotza. So it looks like today. Let's go to the maskana. According to what we just read, lechatchila don't build your sukkah reshus harabim on a common area. B'di'evad, if you do the yotza, so it comes out if somebody is not a b'di'evad she'it. Some people by them it's b'di'evad yotza. They do it lechatchila already. Let's say you care for Shulchan Aruch, you want to do things the right way. Lechatchila you would not build chayra sukkah reshus harabim. Now, the Magen Avraham goes even further. It's not b'di'evad yotza. The Magen Avraham says, "V'tzorich iyun shenagu k'tzas lasa sukkah b'reshus harabim. V'im ken sukkah gezelahi. V'en lama de b'nei ha'ir moichlim lohem. L'chor it's sukkah gezela because you goizel from the rabbim their way, the walking way, and don't tell me that the people of the city moichel you. Why? Everybody has the right to. How could everybody be moichel you? Maybe all the Jews moichel because of the mitzvah of sukkah. The goyim that don't care for sukkah, they have chelek b'shus harabim. They're not moichel you maybe, so you goizel them. So he goes ba'arichus. I'm gonna mekatzer. Then he writes like this. V'im ken. That's very important what he writes over here. That's going to be a big enough commitment over here, how far we could go with this. If you can, osur la'asa sukkah b'reshus harabim, sha'akum lamachle al kach. You could rely that the Eden will be moichel you. It's according to this, if you are in a building, all Jews, and it's a common area over there, you could build it even though you didn't get permission from her, because we assume for the mitzvah sukkah the moichel you. But if in the building living goyim or in the reshus harabim or the reshus for everybody, they're not moichel you. Says the Magen Avraham, you cannot build a sukkah over there. Va'av the b'di'evad ksheiro, even though like he goes with the Ramah, b'di'evad it's kosher because you cannot goizel karka. It says mikol mokem. He says, and he says like this: "Nireli the en levorach aleya." Even though the Ramo, according to the Ramo, it's kosher to sit there with the brocha leshev basukah, you cannot make on such a sukkah that was built in a public domain that going shoot from over there, or in the Rishus Harabim, because they're not moichel you. Dafagav the lezam shum mitzvah ba'avera kiman de lokanya klal. Yeah. Yeah. Because even though you can't say mitzvah ba'avera because it's not the real gazelle, Mokim says you can have brocha levatol. It says Lamaisa don't do brocha. It will be brocha levatol. Okay, like this. So according comes out like this. Lechatchila we should not build in the Rishus Harabim, especially when there's goyim involved over here. In the common area. If you did b'diavad, that's kosher, but you cannot say brocha leshev basukah. Can you imagine? You're going to such a sukkah, if it's a sukkah of the shul or a restaurant, or a sukkah of a building, or a sukkah that build a shul, built in Rishus Harabim, but you cannot make leshev basukah. Do you want to go and get involved in this? However, here is the shtickle kav zchus now to why people do it. The Elia Rabbo brings all this what we just mentioned. Then at the end he concludes he disagrees. The Elia Rabba he disagrees with the Mogen Avram, and that's what he says. וכן משנה בלושן רבנו ירוחם שכתוב מצווה בעבירה ליקה דאנזל כישב בסוכה שאולה. Yeah, it's not right. You didn't ask permission, but it's like sitting in a sukkah she'ula, borrowed sukkah. Mashma da'afel inan brocha and isur kama b'she'ula. So the Elia Rabba, there's no isur over here. You can make even a brocha over there. And then there is a hagoyos v'ha'oros over there. And the Levush says like this. V'zo nira alfi anis daiti leheter. כאן, כיוון ששישה אדוינים הממונים מהמלכוס לעניין ברחובס ושווקים שיהיו מרווחים ולא יבנה או יעמוד חנות שום אדם על קרקע פני פונה בלי רשוסם והם אינם מויכים בסוכס ברחוב בחג הסוכס אם כן אבל כועסם ברשוסם ודין את המלכוס הדינה. He brings them in Agoes another heter. Besides that according to Elia Rabbi you could make bracha because it's called not shula, sukah shula, gezula, ela sukah shula. He says no, it's that you got permission. Why? Because normally in every city you have people. He says, but 6 people, but whatever you have inspectors from the city, they in charge tell you the zoning code, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do. When they see you build a sukkah, they didn't tell you anything. Even they didn't give you a permission, you don't have a piece of paper, permit to build it. If they didn't say anything, they didn't rebuke a mashma, they give you permission. And they have the right, even though there's a rabbim, not everybody will moichel you, since they could override the rabbim, they are the one to decide what you could build over here, what's not. And dinner the malchus dinner, so if they give you permission, they'll become 100% kosher.
Even stronger than that would be if they got a permit to build it.
Oh, I'm going to talk about this now. Lamai says like this, I want to conclude this halacha. There is some other bring heterim to it. The Mishnah Berurah brings many matirim that you could say even broch over there. La halacha, the Alter Rebbe paskin like the Mogen Avram, you cannot make broch on this sukkah. The Mishnah Berurah paskin like the Elia Rabba, that's usually the consistent. And normally that's how they follow the rulings. The Alter Rebbe followed the Mogen Avram, the Mishnah followed the Elia Rabba. So according to an Aruch HaShulchan also maskim to this opinion of the Elia Rabba, you could make brocha on it. So it comes out like this. According to Ashkenazim that follow the Mishnah Berurah and the Aruch HaShulchan, you could make even brocha on it. The Olam Meikel, you could do it. And according to Chasidei Chabad, they follow the Alter Rebbe, you cannot make brocha on such a sukkah that they built in a public domain. And we're going to talk about the permit in a minute. Kafachaim says that will be the halacha for the Sfardim. He's a very consistent also. I mentioned many times by him. The minute there's a machloekes legabe brocha, he followed this halacha. Sovek brochas lehokel because of Mishus Chashash brocha levatala. He says also he paskin like the Mogen Avram, the Alter Rebbe, and such a sukkah that built in public domain in the Rishus Harabim don't make a brocha leshev basukah. Now, so. Like I said, so you many sukkahs, if you go to this restaurants, to public domain, common areas, there will be a shaila of a brocha. Again, you could say I'm following the Mishnah Berurah, the Aruch HaShulchan. Here is the catch over here. One of the heteirim, what is brought in Agoes, the Oros over here, that the city give you permission if they didn't say anything. Even if they didn't give you, but it's like it's like they give you permission, yeah? That's only if they're really giving you permission. They don't mind. A lot of times they give you a warning. Take off this construction, and people say, I heard many times people say, oh, but they give me 7 days. Good, I'll take it off after 7 days. That's not the pshat. They give you permission for 7 days. No,
Right.
they're telling you it's wrong to do it now. Elamai and Unshel Kem Masirin. We're giving you before. We give you a fine before we punish you. We're giving you 7 days to take it off. Lamai said they didn't give you permission. So Memela, it's going back. If there's no permission, it's going back to the Rabbim and Moichalim. If Rabbim not moichel you to use the goyim, memela, it's according to the Mogen Avram, and it would be a problem. So Lamaisa is that's why I'm giving the shir today. The best way to do it, if you have to do the sukkah, let's say in New York, you have a lot of goyim in the building living, doing the public the common area, or in the street, a restaurant in the street is everybody walking over. The best thing is to go to the city, to get a permit, then lekula alma it's kosher, because the city, even though Rabbim is not moichel you, all of them, maybe somebody say, oh, I don't want the sukkah over here, I want to walk over here, I want to park my car over here. Since the city, dinah the malchusa dinah, they have the koyach to override. They have the one to decide who could do what on the street, what you cannot do.
Building with the landlord.
Something with the landlord, very good. Apparently with the landlord, if you get permission, then lekula alma it's kosher. So the best thing is not to be ober chacham. Oh, they're gonna give me 7 days. I'll take it off to Yom Tov. Like I'm like an outsmart the system. If you don't want any shilas on this, and you want to say the brocha lechatchila an ideal way, the best thing is to get the permit from the city or to get the permission from the landlord. Then you have no shilas.
Yeah.